So this video I'm making so that I can explain to people when I say that I've got this traffic simulation program I enjoy working with. They can better understand what I'm talking about. Um, this particular program is called Syncro. It's made by Trafficware. There are other programs out there that are that do similar to this too, but I found this one to be the most affordable for me to use. This one I think cost me around 12 or 1400 bucks. I can't remember how much I paid at the time, but it is not cheap to purchase a program like this. So anyways, let me start showing you how this works. So you basically kind of lay out the roads you want. For instance, I can place a road here coming out this way, and then I would have to tell it basically how many people want to make a left turn per hour, how many want to make a right turn per hour. On this segment, how many want to go straight through per hour or make a right turn. Kind of like you see on these other intersections already laid out. So if I zoom up on, I'll zoom up on these two here down in the lower left. So what you're seeing basically is for this particular intersection on the left, if we look at this 50 making a right turn, that represents how many cars per hour that want to flow through here. Or this 250 means how many want to go straight through, and so forth. And then you can lay down how many lanes there are. This one I've got one main lane, which then branches out to a right and a left turn lane. I could change it so that there are 2 or 3 lanes that come from the left side to approach the intersection. That's all how I want to design it. I also designed these two to kind of be coordinated to each other. So if I click on either of them, I'm going to click the left one right now and go out to this view. Now this may look like an overwhelming amount of information, but I don't use all of it. Some of it you can't change. It's kind of calculated for you. But just to give you an example, if you look at the bottom part where, and you unfortunately may not be able to see it very clearly, but what's happening is in the bottom you kind of define how long each direction has green and in which order. So this top row is representing the intersection on the left, whereas the bottom row is representing the intersection on the right. And because they both share a starting left point, they turn green for this first phase at the same time, and then each one independently turns green for the other directions at different times and are allotted different amount of times to be green for different directions. But in the end, when the cycle starts over, each one is forced to start at the same cycle point for this particular scenario that I've made. Let me go to a different intersection now. I'm just going to show you a real quick one that's not tied to another intersection. So you would think these two would be tied together, but in this particular scenario I made them independent. So if we look at, I'm going to look at this bottom one for a moment. And again, it's probably going to be hard to tell, but at the bottom it's showing again the amount of green time each direction is given. And although this has 2 rows like the other one, the 2 rows here actually represent the same intersection. So they're just giving different directions green at the same time. Another thing I can do is I can make the intersection a 4-way stop sign. So I've done that. Or if I wanted to, I can change it so that east and westbound traffic are free, but the north and south have to yield. So It's another way. So it's flexible. You can design it any way you want. Go ahead and undo all that. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to show you quick before I went on to the simulation, I'll zoom up a little closer. These little rectangular narrow bars represent the sensors in the roads. So I can define how long those are. This one is showing one that it's at about 50 feet. But I can change the length, I can change how many there are. I can say there are 5 of them at 10 feet apart and 5 feet wide, and so forth. So, and then, yeah, so that's that part of it. So now let me show you the simulation portion. So once you've got everything laid out, you go ahead and start simulating it. So here it is with the cars starting to enter and fill up the screen. So if I zoom, let's say the lower left corner, you can see how the cars are now moving and progressing through the intersection based on whether they have green or not. I can change the speed. I can make them go backwards. I can make them go forward very slowly. I can make them go fast, or forward quickly. But in the end, my goal that I try to do, let me zoom out here again and give you a full overview. The way I set it up and turn it into a game is I actually, you basically tell it at the beginning how heavy the traffic is, the volumes, based on the first information you saw in the first layout. So if you enter a value of 1, then all the values you saw on the previous screen represent how many cars want to go through the intersection. So as an example, when we said, I'll go back to this one example. If I said 50 cars are making a right turn, and I set the volume to equal to 1, that means 50 cars per hour want to make a right turn. But what I do is I crank it up to 3, and so that means there are 150 cars per hour that want to make a right turn instead of 50, and that's true for all the intersection, all the traffic volumes. And then after a certain point, I crank it way down, so it's only a fourth of the amount of cars that are set up as you saw on the first screen. So then what I'm trying to do is, if you look on the screen here, so from the left, we've got 3 inputs. From the bottom, there are 3 inputs. From the right here, there are 2 inputs, and from the top, there is 1 input. And what I do is I let the simulation go, and towards the end, I start noticing which inputs become empty first. The goal I'm trying to do is make them all empty at the same time. And so if I design it right, then they all should pretty much become empty at the same time. If I don't design it right, then I need to tweak some of the timings so that they do kind of line up properly. So yeah, I hope this helps and explains a lot. Oh, I wanted to show you real quick down here. Here's where we're an example where I've set it up where north and southbound have a protected left, where you can see these arrows representing a protected left turn. But east and west, I did not provide a protected left, so these cars have to wait until it's free to make a turn in order to complete their turn. So protected, unprotected. So anyhow, that was it. That's what I wanted to show you. Hopefully this makes sense. Any questions, just let me know. Okay, bye-bye.